would we still be with each other if we didn't have a shared interest in health and wellness?
I think chances would be a little lower. Because it's one of the few things that we actually are very aligned about, right? Yeah, it's one of the things that really binds us together from day one.
Yeah, one of the biggest. Going back to day one, what comes to mind? I guess from those early days, were there things I said, things I did, things that we did together that made you think, there's kind of some alignment here?
Yeah, well, the first night I wasn't very impressed by you because you kept offering me to drink, and I kept telling you I was on a paleo challenge. I was in my CrossFit days, very into the community, very into paleo. So I could only have carbs and liquor once a week. And I can be very strict. I think I mentioned that to you, and it piqued your interest, no?
2011?
11, yeah. So what were your thoughts? Because I was pretty strict.
Yeah, I was. I knew what paleo was already.
Did you?
Yeah,
Parang that wasn't what you said before.
Maybe a few days later. We were on the first date.
Yeah, no. So, okay. This is how deep it goes. The first time you asked me out, what did you say?
Let's go get some carbs.
Yes. And I think that really set the tone to our relationship. To this day, it's like, when are we going to have
said that
carbs?
in a facetious way, knowing that Iza, a woman, was had dietary restrictions. Of course, the guilty pleasure was going to be some carbs.
You knew that because I
weak
told
point.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cute because we kept talking about carbs. I remember we kept talking about my diet restrictions at that time. So, and we did grab carbs. I know you drank that night. Anyway, so from day one, there was a shared interest in fitness as well. Like, what were your thoughts? Like, you have always been athletic. And I can't say I'm athletic per se because I don't really have a sport, unless you consider dancing a sport, and I do. Zumba. But I was definitely working out a lot, and I still love to work out. So what was that like for you?
Yeah, so we ended up doing a lot of workouts together. So why do you laugh?
Sorry, I just remembered one of the first workouts we did was, again, I was heavily into CrossFit, and I asked you to work out at the box with me, and your squats were so bad they weren't counted.
Yeah.
But you
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. Your mobility wasn't good, but you were very strong and obviously like very athletic.
Yeah. Not that my mobility wasn't good. I think that I just had to be corrected.
Yeah, your form.
Yeah. Yeah.
So health has always anchored us or has bound us together, or the shared interest in health and wellness, whether it was the weekly nilaga bulalo bone broth, I call it bulaga, in our home, reading up on paleo beliefs in terms of, I guess, wellness. If you say even well-being, right? You were always very balanced. Whereas I started to develop insomnia, and you would, a big pain point was sleep. And you would always bring it up, and we'd have all these arguments around sleep, from my taping schedule, and then me always working out and not having enough recovery time, I feel. You remember those days, Ben?
Yeah. Just feel sorry for you and your body, like having gone through that for so many years.
I think the pressure to look good whether it was external or internal, because I understand that a lot of it was also internalized narratives, right? But also there were external pressures of like people telling you you're getting bigger, producers telling you. When I was doing the Ido Portal program, I chunked up because the program was actually very intense and I wasn't sleeping properly. I remember, and I almost got a memo. Fast forward to 2020 and I got COVID. I mean, badly. And a lot of people would ask me this, but di ba you're healthy? Di ba you eat healthy, you work out, you do all this? And I think that's when I really had an awakening of what health and wellness really is.
What was the difference?
We both know it. Sleep, recovery. I I wasn't sleeping properly. And that was like 18 years into show business where in the beginning there weren't even any cutoffs. By the time we met, I had a 2 a.m. cutoff, but that wasn't really followed. I was just a very, very tired woman from the work and the workouts and all the dieting, and then eventually the lack of sleep. Because that was the only difference between our lifestyle. How come I got COVID badly and you didn't? Like, no symptom whatsoever for you. And we were sleeping in the same room.
Yeah, big difference is sleep.
Yeah.
Maybe vitamin D levels. I was definitely getting more sun than you.
At that time,
At that
perhaps
time, yeah.
more consistently because I guess your schedule allowed for it. But I just remember, and speaking of health and wellness, let's go back to 2020. Do you remember?
Which part?
And how I like started manifesting the symptoms. It was early March, and I started getting a sore throat, and I knew already because by this time I was already kind of getting sick several times a year. Remember my bachelorette in Bali, our wedding, I was sick. In all of those life milestones events, I would have the flu, but I would power through. Kasi kaya naman eh. Ganun. Yeah, now that I look back, even just before I got COVID, even that December, we were in the UK, I was sick. And then just shortly before that was the first time I was told that I got bronchitis. It was 2019. So it was already getting worse. So when I started feeling sick in March, early March, I was a bit scared. And then I remember I got canceled online for a statement that a comment that I posted about the universe, that COVID perhaps was the universe's way of making the world a better place, which was a comment I posted because I was sick in bed and I was trying to make sense of everything that was happening. So it came from a very, very good place, actually. I mean, the intention was really to make sense of what was going on. And there was some fear because I was starting to feel sick. And people canceled me. So when the sickness was progressing, I was so scared to get a COVID test. Remember? And so I started going to just our integrative doctor's clinic, getting all the vitamin drips. But at some point it didn't work anymore, and that's when I'll have you step in because that's when you took the lead.
Yeah, it was 11 awful nights at hospital. But I think, like going beyond that, like back to my question, what coming out of that experience, what was the perspective shift? So up to that point, you thought and people thought you were healthy because you're eating super well, because you're working out a lot, don't drink.
Rarely drink,
But sleep was terrible. Remind me, was that was that adjustment made? What was the big shift coming out of the hospital and having a second chance at life?
I think the big shift was really, at that time, the world paused, right? So there was a big shift in terms of energy required for you as a human being. And though I was very lucky and fortunate that I actually kept working throughout the pandemic. Not every day the way I used to, but in bubbles, like taping bubble. And it no longer went from one taping bubble to another, and or like one set to another. And the hours were better regulated, because again, health became the focus of every set, of every industry, of every family. So I think together with my awareness at that time, my awakening, the world also paused. And actually, it was good for me, because in that pause, I was able to work out more, but also get sleep. So during the pandemic, what was good, at least for me, was that I wasn't spreading myself too thin, because I wasn't going from one set to the other and then work out and then no sleep. There was more rest during the pandemic. Yeah, I think that was the shift. I mean, what was the shift for you? I mean, what was that like for you before I even get to what it taught us? What did that experience teach you, or what was it like for you seeing my health decline and having the thought, well, there was that reality at that point, right? That you know, things could go south, and that you possibly could probably not have a wife the next day.
When things get worse, you're just thinking about, I mean, the present moment, right? You're super in the moment. I'm super in the moment. Just figuring out how to help you with things that you needed in hospital. I mean, for me, that 11 nights in hospital was March 2020 was really the beginning of COVID and the pandemic for the world. The positive in this for me is that we were thrown in the cauldron right at the beginning, and actually everything that was to come for the next couple of years was in a way, it was really easier, right, than those first 11 nights in hospital.
Not to say that things haven't been difficult in other
easier
parts of our lives.
But for me, again, like probably everybody knows, like our business, Bookie, took a hit because all the restaurants closed. So I guess on a mental health and spiritual level, I think for me, the COVID was a bigger exercise in mental and spiritual strength, really to get my business through the pandemic.
Endurance, right? We talked about that mental endurance. I think you mentioned that.
Yeah,
I remember you mentioned that term when all of this was unfolding, that it was definitely an exercise in building your mental endurance.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. And I think any mental strength can only come after your body's feeling good, right? I guess a better perspective I started developing then is being healthy is not just about not getting sick and looking good, but it's really also about energy levels, right? Without a healthy body, you don't have optimum energy levels. Without optimum energy levels, you can't think straight. You cannot think clearly. You cannot be focused for long periods of time.
And that's when also you could possibly become anxious or depressed, is when you lack sleep. So, I mean, it starts really with the body, and the mind follows.
Yeah. So I think we all probably evolved a lot in that
In that aspect.
in the pandemic period.
However, Okay, and I think one of the best gifts of the pandemic to us is that in that healthier state of, I'd say, my body, I don't know about yours, but definitely mine became healthier. Also, my hormones were addressed. Sorry, something I forgot to mention is that just before I got COVID, I went to Doc Sherry Bondok of the core clinic, and I got my hormones tested. And I got my hormones tested, and the test results, the Dutch test, came back just when I got admitted at the hospital, and it basically said I had the body of a menopausal woman in terms of my hormones and my immune system. They were all in the red markers. So that's how bad and unhealthy my body was. And I don't have issues when it comes to hormones, or so I thought. I didn't, but apparently I was there was already the early onset of hypothyroidism. So that was also addressed during the pandemic. And
That's around the time you turn 40.
yes, almost. So I'm actually going to lead up to how in that state, I guess there was a bit more of a pause health wise. And yes, there was work, but we weren't doing event work. I didn't feel that we were being pulled in so many directions. That's actually when I got pregnant without us trying. Yes, health was great, but we were challenged in different areas of our lives at that time. But because I had a healthy body, I suddenly we had a baby. And I guess I talk about this because another level that has been unlocked in our journey of health and wellness is becoming parent, right? Because when you have a child, when you're 40, it is tough. Giving birth to a child, I mean,
The household is it's a team system, right? So Dea will bring back a cold from school.
yes.
And then Isa's likely to get it. Whether I get it or not, if one or two people in the household is down, then it's more work for the person that's not sick in ways, right?
Yes. And we co-sleep. I mean, a big factor here is that we choose to co-sleep, right? So that's why it's the chances of us getting sick from Dea are higher. And excuse me, recently though, you got sick and Dea got sick after, and I'm still fighting this, and that's it, right?
I think
that's been our journey.
That's the difference. Before having a child, when it was just me and you, if you
Yeah.
get sick, I'm like, it doesn't affect my life so much, I guess. But with a child, when a child's sick, then it's like, oh, you really feel the weight of it, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that Isa, the mother, is probably likely to get sick. That means there's going to be more work for me on top of all my other work.
Plus her waking
Like
up.
we're more like we're all together. We're like one organism.
Mahilig ako makinig ng podcast. Eh, ikaw?
Mahilig ako gumawa ng podcast.
Buti na lang, may podcast na ang Spits!
Yay! Ano yung mga topic natin, guys?
Julius Babaw.
Oh, wow!
Isang team tayo.
Ooh!
Kung friends ba talaga tayo o hindi.
Kung papasok tayo sa bahay ni Kuya.
Favorite ko rin yung pinag-usapan natin, yung origin stories natin.
At saka origin ng mga games.
Yes! Kaya tara, let's makinig na kayo sa Tawa Let's with Spit in partnership with the Pod Network. Makinig kayo sa amin. Spit Manila. Spit.
Don't hit me for saying this, for asking this question. How much of this notion that it's harder to have a child, rear a child as you get older, how much of that is would you say, a limiting belief, versus biology?
Oh, it could be both. Because I didn't have that notion at all before. Remember, I was bargaining to have a child at 42 because I was lean and mean, darn a machine. At that time, right? Like, yeah, I was bargaining and we weren't on the same page on a lot of things. So, yes, there is that. But for me, I think what's tough is I'm actually feeling the narrative. It's hard because before I didn't feel it, so it was non-existent. Well, now I'm feeling that my body is tired. I'm not saying it's hard for me because I'm older. It's just hard for me because I'm not at my healthiest. So it's not exactly age. I need to feel healthier at the moment. That's the challenging part. Because I think there are women who have had kids much older than me. So there is a biological clock because technically after when you don't have your period anymore, there's a lot of factors that come into play, right? But I think having a healthy body is one of the biggest elements in having or carrying a child. Faith is one of them, a belief system, which can be tied to faith, narratives in your head. But ultimately, I think a healthy body and healthy mindset. So yes, it goes hand in hand. So like ultimately, it's a healthy body and a healthy mind that is the best environment for a life to be created.
So yeah, it's possible. Anything in this life is possible. Having a child at a later age, but I suppose that just still takes a bit of figuring out, right? How do we get to that level of optimum health?
Yeah.
We're trying to figure it out, right? Amongst all of the work and life challenges, how do we give ourselves the time to do the right things, to get to sleep before 10:30 p.m.?
10:30.
Why
Yeah, that's my
is it
biggest
why is it
challenge.
such a challenge for us to get to sleep by 10:30 p.m.? What is it?
It's partly, we'll discuss it on another episode, parenting. But a lot of it is admittedly us not starting our wind down time earlier, including Daya's wind down time, actually. Us trying to, and this is me, do it all. For me, that's it eh. Because I'm doing so many things at night. That's the only time I actually am able to respond to certain messages. So, and then it could possibly lead me to the black hole that is social media at times. I mean, there's a lot of things that we do wrong. And I think that's what I love about how health and wellness binds us. Because even when we're doing things right, but especially when we're doing things wrong, in as much as it can be a friction point, it's a learning curve. Yeah, it's a chance for us to better understand ourselves and our weaknesses and turn it into a strength. It's a tough time right now because let's say for events, like the other day I got home at 10 p.m. How do you want you're gonna take off your makeup pa? But admittedly, there are a lot of days where the event or the work finished naman much earlier in the day and I'm still not in bed early enough, right? And I still am on medication for my sleep. Something that I was able to let go when I was pregnant with Dea. So it's almost like at this point in our lives, still very much rooted in our health and wellness, well-being journey, is having to question our priorities at this point, right? What's important to us? How can we we earn money without having to sacrifice our health and well-being. Diba? All these things combined, I think, is really something that keeps us
Keeps
integrated.
us talking.
Talking, at least.
About better solutions.
Yeah.
How much better and longer do you think our sleep would be if there was no such thing as Instagram? Instagram Reels
Just
specifically.
slightly better, not much better. It's not just Instagram. It's work. Like last night after Dea got to bed, it's really discipline, Ben.
Discipline.
At this point, our challenge is discipline. We're trying to live our lives as if we still don't have a child. We're not eating early enough. So her bedtime routine is not early enough. You want to have your chocolate in front of the TV.
10 minutes. 10 minutes a day.
It doesn't matter. And when you don't have the 10 minutes, it's everything, right? Like, it's actually...
Well, again, it's a balance. That's like everybody has like things they have to
this
do in a
became
day or a week.
Our time management is we
have to know each other's priorities. Like, I need to do certain things in a day to be mentally all there. You need to do certain things in your day to be mentally all there. It's like, how do we juggle all of that?
And maybe it's a phase, because Dea is really at that phase that she's very clingy. She wants everything to be with mom and dad, like especially with mommy. So it's hard, and I'm only left with time after she sleeps. So the later she sleeps, the less time I have, or to do things, or the later Dea sleeps, the later I can get to work on things I have to work on. Like last night, I had to go through this, do our podcast, and slate already. So I guess it boils down to really discipline at this point for us, diba? And this is why sometimes I want to move to the province so that I don't have to. I'm yearning for a slower paced life. Will I love it when I'm there? That's also another question. Like, I really don't know. I think we're really learning as we go and grow, diba? And that's why we have these conversations between us and between us. I mean, if you're listening, please, if you have any suggestions, any thoughts, if maybe we're not the only ones experiencing this, maybe it's not just because we're having a child later in our lives, maybe it's hormonal.
Cool. So quick fire fun. Worst workout fail.
Workout fail?
Yeah.
You.
Me. You want me to answer?
It's for the two of us to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Can you
your
answer first? Answer first.
worst workout fail?
When you did that WOD in the CrossFit box. I already said it.
Poor squat form.
Poor squat
Once.
form. Wow, once. Well, because you learned
Until
from
I was
that.
corrected, then I corrected myself. Can you think of a workout fail?
Sayang, because you could have been on the blackboard because he's so fit. Any workout where I don't get proper sleep. So technically, it's not a workout fail. It's a recovery failure. Food I secretly binge on now.
Anything in secret?
Nothing in secret.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, that's one thing. Like, that's one of the things that that you've given me. The gift of not doing binge and starvation anymore. So I just want to commend you.
I've given that to you.
Well, you've helped me.
I guess I've influenced that.
Yeah, you've influenced me. Sorry, that's a term. Do you secretly binge something?
Do I secretly binge any food? No.
You don't binge, but you like things.
No, I just like a bit of dark chocolate every night. I need a bit of sweet every night.
Yeah, and he looks like this. Annoying, no?
Dark chocolate. You can. Everyone
You
can
don't
look like
just
this
have
if you have
dark
dark chocolate
chocolate.
every night.
You don't just
Dark
have
chocolate,
dark chocolate.
good fats, bit of yogurt. Everyone will look like this. What's a
Whoa!
wellness myth?
Excuse me.
What's a wellness myth you believed way too long?
I was pescatarian for 5 years. So I wish I wasn't pescatarian for 5 years. I wish I was just more mindful of my eating habits. So maybe it wasn't so much about the pescatarian diet, right? It was just, yeah. I wasn't as mindful being a pescatarian. But even now, I wouldn't be a pescatarian. I just because I want a more well-rounded approach to wellness. That's a personal belief.
Fats are bad, right?
Yeah.
So obviously there are good fats and bad fats. And some of the best thing we eat is actually the good fats, right?
Yeah.
The yogurts, the avocado,
The
fats,
coconut.
coco-
Coconut.
coconut, the fatty parts of meat from a good source.
Yeah. That's true.
And I say
Same.
that because for so many years we would stray away from, like, I wouldn't buy a ribeye because I would usually buy tenderloin because of less fat. But again, if the beef is from a good source,
Yeah.
like the fat is almost the best thing for you and the tastiest. So
Yeah.
I felt I'd lost out for a few years there.
But
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
be intentional with, I guess, your fat intake. And
What's-
in the Philippines, there's even a song. The coconut nut is a giant nut, but if you eat too much, you get very fat. I mean, for a long time, people were afraid of coconut. And now we're understanding the health benefits of coconut. There's MCT,
Yeah.
coconut oil.
Great song, incorrect message.
Well, they didn't know it at that time. It is, yeah. But at that time, that was the correct message because that's what people knew.
Yeah.
And so I guess one of the things, right, in my approach now to health and wellness is that I will have beliefs around it, but when there is new information, I will consume it. And if it changes the way, and if it makes sense to me, I think you have to always try it because a lot of it is very personal. A lot of health and wellness beliefs are very personal. So anyway, what's your partner's most annoying health routine? Your dark chocolate at night. That's annoying for me, because it's like, I need you to go up for
Yeah.
bedtime, bath time.
So
and
dark
you're like,
chocolate is part of my mental decompression
Yeah.
each evening after a day of work, together with 10 minutes of YouTube.
It won't be annoying if we did things earlier. See, this is what I mean. I guess there's nothing wrong about our health routines, really, because we have the same one, so it's hard to be annoyed. So we take the same oil in the morning. We have the creatine and the green. Well, I have it with super greens. We basically have the same. For me, sometimes I guess it's not that it's annoying. My ego is annoyed because when you do a fast, because I don't want to do fasting anymore the way we used to, because I feel like it will throw off my hormones. And when you fast, I get annoyed because I want to fast and I want to prove to you that I can also do away with food. But I know it's actually not going to be as beneficial for me because I am a woman.
Yeah.
But for men,
Yeah.
very beneficial.
Yeah. And that answers my question, actually. I get riled up when I see you not eating in the morning or eat too little, when I know your body is yearning for it.
Yeah. Oh, see there?
Yeah.
Oh, see? I love it. I love you. I think at this point in our lives, Ben, what does being healthy and well together mean to us?
It means
After me.
oh, where did that come from?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I do.
Do you think about something, or is this hormones?
Maybe both.
Or are you just thinking about how much you love me?
And how much I hate you. Love you and hate you. Wow, I had no idea this was coming. Wow,
What does being well together mean today? It's our love language. I think we probably forget that the underlying intention in a lot of our conversations about our health is that we care for each other, right? We show love to each other. we want each other to be at our best for ourselves and for each other, right? There's that element, and then there's another element of like, I really don't want you to get sick because that means more work for me at home.
I love how very deep you are.
It's true.
Because where I'm coming from is when I say being healthy and well together at this point is just being alive for my daughter. Every time I get sick, I get scared that I might get hospitalized again. Or that I'm sick and I won't live long enough. And stay around long enough for Dea to learn the things she needs to learn from me, and I want her to learn from me. I didn't see this coming. I'm so sorry.
You're doing well, Poops. Do you feel you're trying your best?
I'm doing my best. I know with the circumstances that we have.
You are doing your best. That's all you can ask of yourself. That's all anybody can ask of you.
Yeah, and I want Leia to see me doing my best. Oh my God, where did we go? Yeah, so I think that's why being transparent. It's our second time to shoot this episode because for me this is very important for us to discuss how important health and wellness is for us. And I guess how important it is for us to be a good example to Dea. Because I want her to see me having a good relationship with food. Us having good, healthy habits so that she can have that as her baseline. I want her to really have a good and healthy environment, physical, mental, emotional, and financial also. We'll get to that. Wellness one day. We're not at the best when it comes to that. But again, everything is a learning curve for us, and that's why we have this podcast. It's really a learning curve. And if anybody is here listening to it and watching us, and are probably maybe on the same journey as us, just know that you're not alone.
You're pointing out the challenges, not just for our children to be healthy and to grow up with values and principles that set themselves up for good health, but it's about us, the parents, taking care of ourselves. Because if we're not healthy, we don't have energy levels, strong immune systems, then how can we take care of our children well and should take care of them for a long time? That's the challenge.
Yeah. And I just want to say this, in as much as I get annoyed that you always ask me about what time I'm going to sleep, what time I'll be home, have I taken my supplements, do this and do that. I mean, it really is our love language, or your love language to me. And I just want to say thank you. Because, yeah, you were my nurse at the hospital. And you were my nutritionist at the hospital as well. And when I think about it, these are things I sometimes forget when I get very annoyed at you for other things. But ultimately, it roots down to care, right? Because you deeply care about yourself, you deeply care about me. And I think what I'm really learning at this point is to really care about myself so that I can better care for others. So thank you for modeling that behavior and that discipline. I do hope you care more about bedtime so that I don't have to scream at the top of my lungs to get you in our bedroom early enough to get Dea into bed. I love you.
I love you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. So yeah. So I
think we're finished.
I had no idea that this health and wellness conversation would be this emotional. But I guess that's it. Healthy mind, body, and spirit is really at the root of every relationship. Definitely with your relationship with yourself, with your partner, with your children, with everyone around you. And a conversation or several conversations that were mostly between us before are now between us. And I hope that we get to be on this journey from this episode and beyond. So we'd like to thank the Pod Network, Spotify Studios, and our producer, Mel Lozano, for keeping our podcast healthy and well. Until the next one, this is Iza.
This is Ben.
And this is Between Us.
The Pod Network Entertainment. The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.